I'd like to start it's with a short story, and it's a story about searching. But in Sarah's case, after about 4 years, she left the company. And what was lacking? What was she searching for that this company wasn't providing? Well, seeing that Sarah was my friend, I asked her that question. I said, why would you leave such an opportunity? And she told me. She said, something interesting dawned upon me about 2 years into this job. She said, I started to realize that management, leadership was looking at me not for who I was or who I might become someday, but where I might fit into the org chart, right? Into a predefined org chart, which isn't all bad. But she said something was missing. There was a disconnect. In her words, there was a lack of fulfillment in what she was doing in the day-to-day. But what I'm probably most known for is that I'm a business owner, and in some definitions, I'm an entrepreneur. Mostly, I'm a practitioner. I practice business. And today, I want to talk about the idea of how we can help people like Sarah find fulfillment and find it at work. Unique to you, to me, it simply says that there is a miracle inside each and every one of us here worth paying attention to. That's what Sarah wanted. Sarah wanted her miracle to be discovered and paid attention to. And if we read between the lines here, we can see that Mr. Michelin he's actually giving us his secret to leadership. He's saying, first, listen, give people voice, help them help themselves, acknowledge them. I believe what he's saying is if we acknowledge people, those around us, we help them along their unique path, we help them toward their best self, and we help them find fulfillment. I also found it quite interesting that, Mr. Michelin is the CEO. If you read this, it could be written by a philosopher or a religious person for that matter, but it was written by a CEO. I think that was very profound for me. Our purpose is very consistent with the group purpose, as you can imagine. In our case, we want to impact the whole person. When we say that, we want to impact the person in the professional and the personal realm. And we do that through their well-being, right? We even have a mantra. Our mantra is priority on the person. And it's as far as to say, no matter what we do in business, the priority is on the person. And so the business serves the person, not the other way around. But in our case, for the U.S., that's just under 100 million people who are going home every night, uninspired, unengaged, unmotivated, all three, right? And there's two realities to this. The first is the person stays where they're at, and they give their bare minimum. And the second is they seek out something else, another organization that, let's say pays them 5% more to be equally unhappy. Those are the two outcomes. For me, this number was quite alarming when we first learned about it and read about it, because what it was telling me and the group was that of our 3,000 people, there could be a significant amount that are not connecting, or rather not knowing how to connect to something more, to a purpose, right? Certainly not our purpose. And connection is the point here, because the study wasn't saying, hey, we need more companies with inspiring purpose statements. We have a lot of that. No, what the study was saying is that we're failing to make the connection between the purpose of our organization and the hearts and minds of the people that make up the organization. So we have to move beyond inspiration. We have to move from inspiration into motivation, into daily, practical, measurable action. And we need to figure out how to flip, how to invert the 66 who are currently unfulfilled to fulfilled. And how do we do that? What's the recipe? And what were they again? Intimacy, passion, trust. If you leave with anything from this discussion today, leave with those three words. Reflect on your own organizations. Think about your people, managers, leaders, friends, family members. Do you have structures and formats within the organization that allows for deeper knowledge and deeper connection between people? What about passion? Is it throughout the entire organization or just at the top? I could argue that the top is incentivized to be passionate, but is it throughout? And what about trust? Can you draw a line of trust from yourself to the shop floor and back? And I'll wrap up with this. If if I were only given 30 seconds today up on stage, I would have put this up, read it, and said, ladies and gentlemen, figure it out. This was in response to a question that was asked in the interview to Francois. And he said, he was asked, what's your overarching business philosophy? He said, it comes from my grandfather. His grandfather was the founder, Edward. He told me, your number one priority is to love the employees for whom you are responsible. To love the employees for whom you're responsible. And he says, and I agree, not some idiotic sentimental love, right? Let's be clear about that. You simply have to see people as they are. That's exactly what Sarah wanted. She wanted to be seen for who she was, who she might become. Quite frankly, that's what I wanted. So, as leaders, as owners of organizations, we have the opportunity, certainly the opportunity every day, to see people as they are. And the two CEOs that I mentioned prior would tell us that we have the obligation to see people as they are, to help them along their unique path, to help them find their natural best self, to help them toward this thing called fulfillment.